Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel and to a look back at my personal favourite pages that I have coloured in 2023. Now I know at the time of recording this we've got a little bit of 2023 left, but this is when it fits into the schedule. So yeah, I know there'll be a few people coming out with my top 10 colour pages, or maybe my top 23 in 2023, something along those lines. I did try to look for a good number for this video, for example, either my top 10 or my top 23. I couldn't quite get to 23 pages. I mean, I could have just shoved some in there and been done with it. 10 I felt was like too small, because some months in this year I coloured over 30 pages. In fact, multiple months of the year I coloured over 30 pages. So I felt like 10 was too small when I looked back at how much I coloured this year, and I coloured a lot. So that was really wonderful to have a look back at the year. And I will be doing an updated completed pages tour, so that will be coming in January, where we look at everything I've coloured, every book I have, and every work in progress. But for now, let's focus on 2023 and my favourite pages. So I ended up with 17 pages all up. And we're going to start with Tarot Colouring by Alexis E. Thomson. This colouring page is particularly special because this is the first one I put up on YouTube on my return to YouTube. It is a full time lapse over several parts, and I still absolutely adore how this page turned out, and I really want to actually do some more in this book. It is a gorgeous book. So this is Polychromos pencils. There is some Posca, I think, for the white highlights in the eyes. Possibly not. It might just be, oh no, Posca in the clouds. That's where I use the Posca. And then Liquitex Gold Acrylic ink for the background itself. And I absolutely adore how this one turned out. And so I'll try and make a point of anything that's a video, linking it down below for you, so that you can like have a look at these videos that I mentioned. But yeah, this book I need to come back to. Maybe I'll try and make a point of that next year. Slowly work our way through. It is gorgeous. Alright, so the next one that I want to go through, I have 4 pages in Mythomorphia, and I'm not surprised at how many's in Mythomorphia, because one of my goals for the year was to complete this book. Now, we did not complete this book. However, I started the year on 17% and I'm ending the year, I think, near 60%. So, like, I did a lot in Mythomorphia. It's had a lot of work done. It is now absolutely falling apart. This book went with me everywhere. I was working on it continuously, and some of my favourite pages are in this book. So the first one I'm going to flip through is this one here. Alright, can we get you on screen? I thought I lined this up. I did. Here is this spread here. So this wonderful dragon. I just love the colorway. I love the detail, and I love how the glitter in the background looks. So yes, the background is, in fact, the entire page is based with Gallery water soluble crayons, and then I used Prismacolor for the actual shading. There is of course Posca, both white and pink, and then there is some, it's it's just like a coin shop one. It's not like a good brand of glitter. It's just like a glitter gel paint that I painted under the background just to add that little bit of sparkle, and then Liquitex gold acrylic ink for the gold highlights. But yeah, I just love this colour palette, and I love how everything turned out and how the dragon looks and the bright pink clouds. It was very, very much a labour of love. It took a long time, but absolutely stunning, this one. And then the next page that I adore this year is this Woodland Troll. And the reason why I adore this, I did this one on a series of live streams with my Twitch chat, and they were the ones that were really pushing for the rainbow mushrooms, and just, it was a lot of fun to work with chat. So the background I did in, I want to show Inktense and Polychromos pencils, and I believe there's actually a video about the background as well. That was like how to like add in a forest background to a page that didn't have a background, because there's no background on this page, so I added in that forest. And then it was coloured on stream using, I think, the Gallery water soluble crayons again, and no, Inktense. This was when I was in my Inktense phase. And then Polychromos pencils and Posca. And there's just a little bit of glitter on our trans snail down here. So I love that. We've got rainbow, and then we've got the trans snail. So we've got a couple of pride flags hidden in there as well, which is just really fun. So yeah, I really love the Woodland Troll. And then the third one, just tucked in here slightly, is one that I actually completed at the start of the year. It's my very first page of 2023. So technically it was mostly worked in 2022, but we did complete it in 2023. Oops, I have just forgotten to put this protection page back in somewhere. Nope, Woodland Troll has it, so it must be the dragon. It is. Alright. I did have a accident with one of the pages in this book, and I really don't want this book to get damaged until I figure out how I'm going to seal each of the pages, so that's why a lot of these little baking sheet pages are in here. They will once the book is completed and I figure out how I'm going to seal and protect the pages, then they will get removed and the book will be rebound and it'll look really, really good once it's all done. So yes, Underwater World. So as I said, most of this was done in 2022. However, it was completed right at the start of 2023. I think it was like the 4th of January we completed this one, but I'm putting it into 2023 because I love this page. This was so much work. I think we ended up spending over 2 months on live stream colouring this one along. This was before I put VODs up on my channel, so unfortunately the footage is lost, which is a shame because it was a good time, especially figuring out the skyline. So I actually had a suggestion to do this, do the water as if the sun was setting on the surface. And I was like, that is a really neat concept, and I don't know if I can pull it off, but I will try. So that's what I tried to achieve here. And it's not perfect, but I really do like how that surface of the water looks. And then, of course, all the beautiful details and trying to make the water reflections on all the objects. So everything's got a bit of blue. It's something I would do more intensely now. It's just a light glow on objects, but it was the first time I really dabbled with doing that technique. And then just playing around with a lot of colours and having a lot of fun with it. And of course, a little touch of glitter. Alright, and then our 4th page in here, making sure we actually put protection page back in. Our 4th page in here is another underwater one. It is Underwater Merms. So this spread here is a number of videos on the channel, both for the background and then I think some live stream VODs. And I just love how this one came out. This was a absolute experiment where I started experimenting with using gesso in this book and then acrylic inks to create sort of like abstracty backgrounds, and then pulling out inks and filling in details and just playing with this new way of coloring. And I am not someone who's ever enjoyed wet media. I've always been like pencils, markers, gel pens, dry media. But then this year I really started dabbling in a lot more wet media, and this was the piece that started that journey, because we started with the ink on this page, and from there I experimented more with watercolors. I'm now using a lot of gouache. Like, there's been a lot of experiments into more wet media this year, which I really enjoy, expanding my coloring tools and the work it's producing. And I love how this one turned out so much, and what it inspired me to create this year. So yeah, there was like a bunch of this sort of pages I could have chosen, but this was the one specifically I was like, no, it has to be underwater merms. So yeah, this entire page uses Liquitex clear gesso, Liquitex acrylic inks, and then a little bit of stickles, and then I did all the bubbles in Posca. And yeah, it was just sitting here very slowly, working, shading, defining, bringing details up, and I adore how it turned out. And our little touch of stickles. So yeah, considering how many pages I did in Mythomorphia, I'm not surprised that 4 of my top pages are from Mythomorphia. Then keeping on with Kirbyrosans, let's just get a couple more of these. It's alright, we're running out of room very quickly on this desk here, so you might have just got a sneak peek of some of the other books coming up. So yeah, we have 3 more Kerby books. I did a lot of work in Kirbyrosans this year. He is still one of my favourite illustrators. I adore his work, and I adore what I colour in his work. So I'm not surprised that there's a lot in here. And next year, I guarantee at least one page will end up on my 2024 favourites, if not more. Because again, adore his work and the work I do in it. So, Worlds Within Worlds. We have a gorgeous page. Oh, that's right, I put the tag behind here. This dragon eye. Now, I know that a lot of people have coloured this one and really love how their version of this page turned out, and I guess I'm in that crew. So this one I started a number of years ago. In fact, it was in my start of the year complete collection, work in progress, completed pages tour, and it was a very old whip already at that point, so it was really nice to get this one finished. So the dragon itself was actually only done with 4 Prismacolor pencils, and then I did the city with distress ink. The whole thing was based with distress inks, and I used just a couple of pencils to shade the city, and then Posca for the highlights, and I tried to line up the actual eye pupil with like the building itself, so that it looks like it could be part of the building, but it's actually his pupil. It's very simple in terms of palette, but it's so effective, and I love how it turned out. And yes, it's a very classic green dragon, but nothing wrong with a good old classic, you know? Alright, so then we have Wondermorphia. And we have the Steampunk cat. So again, this was another older work in progress that I finished this year. And I'm particularly proud of this piece because I don't work often in this sort of vintagey, antique, browns, golds, metallics. Like, I don't work in those tones very often. So this was a real stretch for me in terms of colour palettes. But I love how it turned out. So this was a distress ink for the background, and then the cat itself was based in alcohol markers and uses polychromos pencils and a Posca pen. And then very surprisingly, there is no glitter on this page, which is also a big thing for me. But I do really love how this whole page turned out, so it's always fun to do a kitty. And then the final Kerby book is, surprise, surprise, Alien Worlds, my other big love of the year. So I honestly could have gone through and almost selected every page that I coloured in here, especially anything on the Crystal Kingdom. I love the Crystal Kingdom. But at the end of the day, this World's Explorer is still my favourite page in this book. I love the colour scheme. I love the glow of the bugs. I love the little rainbow highlight. I love the blue tree. And I love the fact that this was my submission for the Kerby Community Collab, where a bunch of colourists got together. Every page in this book was assigned to somebody. Every page was coloured, and that video was submitted to Kerby. And this was my selection for that. And I'm so happy with how it came out. It was a very, very long process to do all this, but worth it in the end. And just started an absolute love affair with this book. So for the background, we have Distress inks with some Reno Art glitter gel on top. The page itself was based with Distress ink and Albert Dürer, just for the pastel colours. So the bright colours are Inktense, the pastel is Albert Dürer. And then we went over them with polychromos pencils, Posca markers to outline all these details on the bugs and the crystals and the astronaut himself. Sorry, I'm struggling with words right now. And yeah, I love how this one turned out. Honestly though, I could have used any from the Crystal Kingdom, and a lot of them from the Air Kingdom too. So I'm looking forward to doing a lot more in Alien Worlds in 2024. Alright, so that's it for Kerby. Let's go on to... We're going to leave those ones till last. Let's go on to this pile. Right, Nature Mandalas by Melpomeni Chatzipanagiotou. I should have, every time I say I'm going to look up how to pronounce her name correctly, and every time I forget. So this one surprised me when I was considering my books as to being one of my favourites, because mandalas are not a favourite of mine, but I adore how this one turned out. And even more strangely, this one was done when I was hospitalised. This was one of my hospital pages. So considering what time frame it was as well, I'm surprised it ended up in my favourites, but I keep coming back to it. I really love how it came together in the end, and I've really enjoyed this book. So I was like, no, you keep coming back, let's make it a favourite. So this uses polychromos pencils, and then when I got out of the hospital and had access to my full range of supplies, I also added in stickles and Posca. It's pretty straightforward. It was just me colouring with polys. but it kept me very entertained and distracted while admitted into hospital. It's just a very sweet palette. I'm just very happy with it. Also glitter. Glitter is a big factor in terms of swaying me on pages. Mythographic. So this is the page in Imagine, which is by Joseph Catimbang. Ignore the purple tag, that's a work in progress. We're going for the aqua tags for this spread here. So this is the first ever page I completed in a mythographic page, and I love this not only for the techniques that I did on this page, but this also started my love affair with mythographic. So this is a page to blame. But I worked really hard on producing a lot of reflections. So like the water reflex on the flower, the lighting reflex on her, trying to put like greens and purples and different tones into the water so it looked like the water was genuinely reflecting what was around it. And I really love how it turned out in the end. So this uses distress inks and Inktense pencils. It's based with Inktense pencils. I went over it with polychromos pencils, Posca markers, and stickles. So it's just really the regular combo. It's a very common combo for me, is a basing medium, pencils for details, Poscas for highlights, glitter for feature. It's a very standard formula, but it works. Yeah. Adore that page, and it started a new love affair with mythographic books. And then a surprise artist that I fell into deep this year, Kanoko Egusa. So I also have Garden of Fairy Tale Creatures. I have not worked in it yet, which is probably the only reason this book is not up here. But as you can see, I have chosen 4 pages from this book, which is almost everything I've coloured in Kanoko. I have a couple of work in progress. There was a 5th spread, and I almost put it in as well. And then it was like, no, you've got enough Kanoko. Oh, goodness. So the first one from Symphony of Cute Creatures is this Halloween spread. This is a recent finish off last month, but I adore this page so much. So for those that aren't aware, this one was done during the month of October, and then I did unfortunately get COVID, so I had to take a week off, which meant we finished it in the first week in November. And I live streamed the entire process. Well, not the entire. I think I didn't live stream 5 hours, but I was recording my hours for that one. And all up, this spread took me 88 hours. It was a labor of love. It took a long time, but I love it so freaking much. The marbling technique, the marble is just gorgeous to me. I really focused on lighting. So we have multiple light sources. We have the candles as a direct light. We have blue light from the outside, which you can see like here on Farah. And then we also have just a general like a light here getting darker as it fades out situation. So there's a lot of lights, shadows, playing with highlights. And then on top of that, while I was working on this, my chat and I developed a lore surrounding this page, and I adore how that turned out. So there's a real sense of community with this page from my Twitch chat, and I am forever grateful for them for helping me come up with a really fascinating story about what's going on, which really inspired a lot about the piece. And I will make sure I link the little separate video down below where I explain the lore of Murphy's Law. But yeah, this piece, it's for the hours it took, the details that are in there, and the community that helped inspire so much of it and keeps me going. So this spread uses polychromos pencils, there is Posca, there is stickles for the bat, And then there is Deco Art Enchanted Shimmer for outside the windows, which gives it that little illusionary glitter effect. And then the other ones are in Kingdom of Curious Creatures. So, you know what? I just realised I did go in and I labelled every page because I did decide to add this one in the end. So yeah, basically every pink I coloured in Kanoko is my fave this year. Oh, goodness. I do adore it though. I adore the style. I adore what I produce in it. I just adore her work. But yes, we have this gorgeous spread again. I'm pretty sure a big part of why I love this spread is the rainbow and the glitters. Like, again, glitter sways me a lot. I love bright colours. But this one is a mixture of polychromos pencils and then stickles for the glitter. And then I also used washi tape, and in fact I need to reseal down these ones around the centre here because they're lifting ever so slightly. So I do need to seal those down. But yes, I used washi tape for all the clothes, and I love the detail it gives the clothes, and just adds little features. And I'm really happy, particularly with my little calico kitties. I want to do some more kitties. Again, kitties sway me a lot too. And then the other one that I have coloured in here, or rather the other two, is these spreads here. Oops, let's get rid of you. Oh, I just also realised I forgot to put this away again. So sorry. So sorry. So professional. At least this one's easier to find because it's the final one in the book. But yes, I have these two spreads here. So this one was the first ever page I coloured in her books, and I love it so much. I don't usually work soft, light, pastel-y. Like, this is very not my normal colouring. I'm usually bright, vibrant, as much pigment as possible, and this is very soft and gentle. And I think that's why I love it so much, is it's just so peaceful to me. I feel like that's the best way to explain her work, is it's just peaceful to me. So these buns are just delightful. I love them so much. And then, of course, we've got our mushroom mice over here. So this background in particular, I adore the background. I also shared this one, and Kanoko came in and commented on it, which was a big moment for me. I felt very honoured and a little fangirly sharing this process and having her come in and comment. So, yeah. And again, it's very soft and light and lots of full type colours and very natural colours. It's not my usual, but I adore it. And I think that's what I adore about her books, is it kind of pushes me to a new place. So yeah, absolutely love these spreads. I love the background. I just love everything about these books. And I can tell you right now that there will be more Kanoko next year. And then the final 3 books that you've had some spoilers on are some Creative Haven. So in the last in the last month and a bit really, I went on and still am on a Teresa Goodridge deep dive. She is a new artist in my collection, and I am adoring her work so much. So In a Cat's World, the book that really started it all, I chose this page here, which is one of my first Teresa Goodridge pages I completed, and I adore it. I adore everything about it. It's bright, it's colourful, it's vibrant, it's full of fluffy kitties, and this one I really worked at doing a lineless style, which has really inspired me to not only do a lot more Teresa Goodridge, but to open me up to other artists that maybe I didn't look at so much, because the line weight was too thick for my liking. Because of how I've approached her work here and removing the lines. And Teresa's work is very different to anything I have in my books. It's a lot of like natural scenery, but again, really love how the pages turn out in it. She was a surprise favorite of the year. So yeah, I could have chosen like any of the cat pages that I've done in here, to be perfectly honest. In fact, this whole book. I basically could have just chosen this whole book. And then we have two more, which are both my Christmas colourings. So this is a little bit of a sneak peek for this month's colourings. And I was trying to be really conscious about December pages because they're the newest. It's easy to find them the most favourable. So I was like really taking some time to reflect on these pages and go, are you a genuine favourite? And so when I did that, these two pages kept coming back to me. So that's how they made it in. So the first one is in Christmas Charm. And it is this tree farm page. And this is my exploration into gouache. This is a new recent love of mine. I really adore how light, pastel-y, and it looks like a Hallmark Christmas card to me. And I really, really enjoy that. And then I'm also part of a Teresa Goodridge colouring group on Facebook. And this one got chosen as their banner. So that was also a little awesome nod. And then Teresa came in and also commented on it. So it's not about the feedback, but there's been a lot of really positive feedback on this page. And of course it's inspired a new series on YouTube where I'm kind of reproducing this in another Teresa Goodridge book, Home for the Holidays. We've still got a little bit to go on that one. I think if that one was finished, that one might have potentially been in my favourites over this one. It's a little bit more vibrant and colourful, but it's not quite finished at the time of recording, and I'm not 100% sure I am going to be able to finish it this month. I'm really trying though. I really do want to finish it. But yeah, I love how this one turned out as well. And again, it inspired a whole range of techniques. So I feel like this is quite an important one for the year. And then the final one is Enchanted Christmas. And we have Summer Santa. So this one, I love it because it's colourful. I love it because Santa's covered in glitter. I love it because it's a tropical Christmas like we have here in Aotearoa. And I just had a lot of fun colouring this one on live stream. It's not a fancy technique, it's not anything like that, it's colourful, it's bright, it reminds me of my life, and I think it's really fun. I also really love the sunset ocean. So yeah, this uses did I base it? I think I might have used watercolours to base each of the objects, or am I just going with polychromos pencils? No, I did use watercolours to base it, that's right. So yeah, I used the Koh-Lanoa water-soluble pencils and then went over it with polychromos pencils, Posca, Stickles, glitter glue, and then a variety of metallic gel pens for each of the presents and their ribbons. And yeah, just really, really bright, colourful, and happy. So I hope you've enjoyed this flip through of all my favourite pages from 2023. If you know any of my work, is there any pages I missed? Is there a page that you believe should be in this wrap up? I'm very, very pleased with what we've managed to produce this year, what we've managed to do, and I'm just really excited for 2024. So thank you so much for watching. Have a safe and wonderful time during this crazy holiday season. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye!